Eddie Frederick has it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe the list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. Stand for. Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. I'm going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, going up. As we aspire, build up ourselves, one people together.
Welcome to EDDIE-FICATION, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses EDDIE-FICATION to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through EDDIE-FICATION, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the country cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, country cold store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure, you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you'll experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you. Engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.efrederick.com. EDDIE-FICATION.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Oh, yes, folks. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. It's such a beautiful day today, in spite of, of us having been prepared for some bad weather this weekend. We just got a little bit, I believe, that the rural areas, St. Andrew, St. Patrick, and other areas, they would have gotten some good rain yesterday, I was told. But be that as it may, we are having beautiful weather. It's a pity it's so hot on top of that. So, welcome to Edification 219 as we proceed to our reality check through a very thought-provoking topic indeed. I'm sure you will agree that today's discussion will be influenced by some more pungent, straight talk. I have never been known to hold back. Pull up your chair, folks, and get ready to be edified, inspired, and motivated like no other time in your life. Now, as soon as you get into the room today, as per usual, we want you to share. Tag your friends, and let's truly expose them to edification that helps them to keep it real. Comment. Greet each other as you're accustomed in this particular edification community. Wish who you have to wish. Happy birthday, happy anniversary, whatever. Just do what you must. Remember to keep it positive around here. While you're at it, like, love, and react to show your various emotions as you know. I am looking forward to a great time with you today. Folks, let's have a great time. Our 219th edition comes with its own significance, having taken its significance from breaking the sequence down into the numbers 1, 2, and 9. You see, number 1 symbolizes new beginnings, progressing forward, inspiration, success, leadership, determination, and of course, confidence. Number 2 represents partnerships, teamwork, balance, harmony, decisiveness. It also relates to your life purpose. Number 9 signifies humanitarianism, philanthropy, and spirituality, problem solving, generosity, and setting a positive example. But number 9 also symbolizes the universal spiritual laws and the spiritual law of karma. You see, the overall energy of number 219 relates to service, teamwork, independence, partnerships, and humanitarianism. Folks, numerology is important. People who follow these things are students of spirituality. And we ought to know by now that spirituality is more meaningful and more powerful to our very existence than the several bastardized versions of religiosity inculcated in us over the years by the European captors of our foreparents, and today upheld by imposters and fake messengers of God, who are the biggest robbers our various pulpits have accommodated over time. Today's topic, folks, the same energy it takes to be fake is the same energy it takes to be real. Keep it real, folks. Anyone who knows me well knows that I have a disdain for anyone who thrives on being fake. I admire and respect the straight shooting person, but the man or woman who pretends, oh, Jesus help me, they annoy the dickens out of me. What is interesting is the fact that they are usually so consumed by their fakeness that it has become natural to them, and they do not realize that they are living a lie and that sensible people can see through them. I recall a poem entitled The Man in the Glass
by Dale Wimbrough. Folks, listen to this. It's so titillating, so to speak. When you get what you want in your struggle for self, and the world makes you king for a day, just go to the mirror and look at yourself and see what that man has to say. For it isn't your father or mother or wife whose judgment upon you must pass. The fellow whose verdict counts most in your life is the one staring back from the glass. Some people may think you a straight shooting chum and call you a wonderful guy. But the man in the glass says you're only a bum if you can't look him straight in the eye. He's the fellow to please, never mind all the rest, for he's with you clear up to the end. And you've passed your most dangerous, difficult test if the man in the glass is your friend. You may fool the whole world on the pathway of life and get pats on your back as you pass, but your final reward will be heartaches and tears if you've cheated the man in the glass. Isn't that a beautiful poem by Dale Wimbrough, The Man in the Glass? I plan as soon as I'm finished with the live to post it so that you can have access to it. Folks, as we get older, we ought to become more comfortable with who we are. And we learn to deeply value our time with genuine people who give us the same energy. No more holding on to those whom you have to constantly try to impress or to forcefully keep around because of your shared history. Oh no. No more clinging to those you simply cannot trust, the ones who show little to no regard for your well-being, while only taking, even if they are family. I never agree with the whole, I am giving people the same energy they give me. My mother of blessed memory may not have been properly lettered, but I can tell you, she was extremely smart. She made it pointedly clear that we should always give people our pure, truest energy, the real version of who we are, no watered down version. If they don't appreciate us, we can walk away. We must never lower our standards just because the people we deal with are low. No, let them stay there themselves. But if and whenever we have to go down there to meet them, make goddamn sure it is the last time you visit that pit. It is ironic that when we feed people the same energy they feed us, they become very uncomfortable and even complain to others, leaving out the part you are responding to as first coming from them. I have given so many people over the last 10, 50 years the silent treatment, to the point that they complain to the mutual acquaintances that have really changed. When you take stock, you realize that you are the only person making efforts to keep the relationship alive. That every time you speak, it is you who initiated the call, and that you never once answered your phone or a text, and it was them on the other end initiating contact. This, of course, is not tenable. In fact, it hits you one day in the attitude of your own space while you may be sweeping, washing dishes, taking a long meditative shower, walking for exercise, or just sitting quietly listening to music. Folks, the waking up after the hit always hits differently, to the point where moving forward, you omit to remember such people. And it is not until you cross them, maybe in the supermarket or somewhere out in the public, that you remember they existed. That's when you know you have right positioned yourself away from such mindless, selfish creatures. According to Margaret St. Hilaire, bye. Oh yes. Why is it that so many people around us feel like fake? Do you recall this statement? You gotta fake it to make it. This statement is taken so way out of context that it isn't funny. Shallow people interpret it as if it ought to be final, because if you really fake it, you can really make it. Hell no. Fake it till you make it really refers to the idea of projecting self-confidence in order to convince yourself that you can attain a goal that you feel as though you do not yet have the skills to achieve. It was never intended to mean that even in you knowing and have nothing, you know nothing, you should have behaved as if you do. And everything will be added as if by miracle. The Antiguans say, nothing tal go so. That is why a lot of people are so disappointed with their lives, because they are doing nothing to genuinely build their self-confidence and are not seeing the results they crave. And then they project their disappointment on others who are doing what they need to do to make it, in the form of envy, jealousy, and downright malice. You see, there are many people who advocate fake it till you make it and act confidently at what they're doing, even though they don't feel it. Here in transmission, folks, don't worry, it's not my fault. It's the the internet, the Down syndrome internet that we have in Grenada. But we'll proceed. You see, there are many people who advocate fake it till you make it and act confidently at what they're doing, even though they don't feel it. The premise behind this is that the more frequently you do it, the more confident you will become at doing it. You see, the same energy it takes to be fake is the same energy it takes to be real. Keep it real now. Folks, let's take a little break and we'll come back. We will come back.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest breeze on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. Stand for. Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. I'm going higher. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, higher, going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Like my giants, only up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Oh, wonderful, folks, wonderful. And just a reminder here, as soon as you get into the room,
I mean, I see today people.
do, you know, as soon as you get into the room, just share the live, tag your friends, and let's get many more people to share in this wonderful edification here today. Of course, the subject matter is the very, very provocative. Same energy it takes to be fake is the same energy it takes to be real. So keep it real. Keep it real. God, those of you who are already in the room, thank you for being ardent followers and supporters of this particular program. And let's see how many more people you can help convert every Sunday with your loyalty, so to speak. Very much appreciated. Sawandi, it's lovely to see you always, always, always. I've been following you this week. I tell you, you're so provocative. I tell you, you're too young to be so wise. I really admire you. Really, really admire you. Folks, there's one Carol Stewart, MSc. She's a trainer, a coach for innovative women who are senior leaders, and a podcast host whom I follow on LinkedIn. She shared a very poignant piece on this fake it till you make it popular mantra, and most times used out of context by lazy people who are not prepared to do what they need to do to make it, because it is all too easy to fake it instead. Carol stated, quote, I often have to deal with the aftermath with people who have followed the fake it till you make it advice, who as a result have ended up more anxious, stressed, overwhelmed, and feeling less confident. While the fake it till you make it advice might be good for some people in some situations, it might not be good in everything and for everyone. There are some situations where faking it alone may not be a positive experience for you. If you have an inherent belief, no matter how many times you stand in front of a mirror and tell yourself you can do it, it won't stop you feeling anxious about what it is that you need to do. This is because you truly believe that it will happen. If you are prone to experiencing imposter syndrome, though, it can bring imposter syndrome on. If you believe that you are going to fail, mess up, make a fool of yourself, or whatever else it is that you are worrying about, even if you fake it and go ahead and do it, chances are you won't do it to the best of your ability. This is because you are so anxious and stressed about it. Although people may tell you that you can do it, if you don't believe it, you will not feel and act confidently. In fact, it could even make you feel worse. If you suppress the emotion, it may keep rearing its head. It is better to acknowledge it, explore it, and rationalize it to help relieve the anxiety you're feeling. You see, if you don't believe in yourself and your abilities, that lack of belief is likely to be evident, and it won't instill confidence in others about your ability. Unless you have mastered the art of faking it until you make it, even though you make it faking it, your actions and behavior may come across as fake. Jesus, don't you know many people like that? I know, for instance, this particular individual, I wouldn't sex person for you to know if male or female, but I'll tell you, that person, bright, young, good looking, has everything going for that person, yet for all is just a false blob. So sad. Everything is precious. Everything of that person is so fake, and it is so sad. But you know what? That person has got caught up in that kind of expression, self-expression, and they're not even aware that they're being seen through as fake. And all of that is absolutely unnecessary. You see, folks, you may not come across as natural and you may not appear authentic when you are fake. A lack of authenticity will make it more difficult for you to connect with others and to gain their trust. And this person has a lot of people talking about them because it is, you see the person's fakeness even in the photographs that they take. Barring, of course, how good looking they are, attractive, well dressed, well put away. But I think that person's fake persona is put out there to substitute for confidence. You see, where does your belief come from anyway? Is it based on past experiences? Is it because you are uncertain about what it is that you need to do? Identify where that belief comes from and challenge it. Just because you believe it doesn't automatically mean that it is true. How well do you know and understand what it is that you need to do? Is your knowledge and understanding up to speed? Having good knowledge and understanding of what it is that you need to do will in itself make you feel more confident. If you don't have the skills needed, regardless of how much you try to fake it, you definitely won't be making it. Have you got the necessary skills? If not, what can you do to acquire them? Or do you have the skills, but you need to brush up on them? Make them current, in other words. Identify how you can develop the skills that are needed and invest some time in developing them. Having the level of skills needed to do what is required will make things so much easier for you folks. You see, having the knowledge and the skills means you just need to work on developing your confidence with the execution of the task, which you will gain through practice. I am often surprised about the number of people that I meet who lack confidence about something, but yet do very little planning and preparation for it. A good example of this is when it comes to interviews or clueless citizens offering themselves to political life. You see, when they do start to plan and prepare, they get a totally different outcome. We often get so caught up with being busy, we don't put the time in to plan and prepare. How well do you plan and prepare for the things that you lack confidence in? When we plan and prepare properly, we get to realize that there is a vast difference between being busy and being productive. A bit of planning and preparation will take you a long way to accomplishing your goal. You see, what is it that you would consider the worst thing that can happen if you were to go ahead and do what it is that you want to do? What is it that you worry about? That if this were to happen, what could you do? You see, if you know your stuff, have the skills for it, have planned and prepared for it, what are the chances of your worst nightmare happening anyway? You see, hopefully, your response to this question will be that the chances are very small, if not at all. You see, if it's not, rationalizing the worst possible outcome will make the situation seem less daunting once you realize that no matter what, you will be okay. Faking it till you make it can be stressful, overwhelming, and make you feel even more anxious when you lack self-belief about what you want to do. Whilst there are some instances where faking it till you make it may work, my opinion is it is better to address the source of your fear. You remember some time ago I defined fear as forgetting everything and run? That's the ultimate of fear. But there's a positive one touch on that. Face everything and rise. And if you face everything and rise, there would be no need for you to fake it until you make it. That way you can be natural, authentic. And that is where you will find your confidence. Embrace who you are, folks. What has your experience of faking it till you make it been? Have you ever faked it and then made it? Or faked it and ended up feeling worse? I believe you may feel that everyone around you is fake because you are awake. Your conscience is awake, and you're more aware of what is going on around you, seeing things that most people do not seem attuned to. Maybe you see the world is falling apart, and everyone is just staying in their own busy world, staying too busy to notice and see the truth. But the more you notice things, the more you realize that most people are distracting themselves from the truth. Just a little segue here, folks, to my own thoughts on this matter. Look at how many years I have been warning our nation that we are going to hell in a handbasket. Look at how long I have been telling this nation to get rid of the old nastiness before Grenada loses all hope, as he was really and truly bad for us and our personal and national development. I really couldn't pass up that point there, folks. To go back to the sharing, maybe you try talking to someone about it, but then you might notice that someone will look at you as if you were the oddball. Does anybody see? Does anybody care? At some point, you may feel alone in all of this, as I did. Even some friends thought I was overthinking, only to ask my forgiveness today for not paying as close attention as I have always been paying and had always paid all along. Isn't that interesting? They're asking for forgiveness now because they didn't see. You see, maybe you try to forget and ignore what you know, so you can just fit in with everyone else who just lines up as we were taught. But you opened up Pandora's box. As much as you try to go back, you can't because something feels off. The people around you do not feel the same. They feel fake. And why would they feel fake? Because you are awake. And your awakening will always be able to cut through them. You see? And then you come online searching for answers only to find that most people will suggest that you are the one that is fake. Or you are depressed, basically stating that something is wrong with you. Imagine something is wrong with you, the awakened one. But maybe you had asked yourself, are those the same people who line up as we were taught? Well, there you have it. Folks, living in a fake world with fake ideals for a fake purpose and ambition is going to make anyone fake. Very hard to find any authentic and real people these days except natural itself. You see, silence, stillness, and space happen to be real, as is gravity, heat, solidity, and fluidity. You won't get much authenticity out of adults. The most real people I have met were people, undiluted people, who live as part of nature. You see, fortunately, some people are reasonably real. They tend to know themselves more than most and need not have been very fake in order to succeed. This is true of some cultures more than others. I read a quote once by someone which stated, when you think about it, we all play pretend for more often as adults than we ever did as kids. You see, that quote made a lot of sense to me and always stuck with me. The quote perfectly summed up how we have to behave as adults in order to function normally and be accepted. Think about how often you say things that you don't really mean simply to be polite, or how often you hide what you are truly feeling or thinking, or how often do you wear a fake smile or pretend to be interested in some boring conversation or topic. Well, you see what I just finished hearing there? I am not guilty of none of that. Because I'm not listening to no boring conversation. I will tell you so and go about my business. You see, folks, time. A lot of us don't understand the importance of time. Time is so important that when you actually spend time with anyone, it is actually a piece of you are giving to that person that you cannot get back. So you have to make sure you spend your time with valuable people. You spend your time on valuable things, valuable activities that can add value to your life. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't do that, you're wasting your time. You see, how often do you use impression management to help you get what you want from someone, or even to influence someone's decision, or to obtain some resource, or to meet some goal? And in many cases, those impressions that you use to get something are not entirely genuine and real, meaning they do not always accurately represent and or broadcast your true thoughts and feelings and goals. But we do this anyway because we want to maximize our happiness and success. And we know that by adopting certain personas and mannerisms, presenting ourselves a certain way, that we increase our chances of being successful, in effect, getting what we want. Folks, it's superficial at times, and even downright fraudulent at times. But to be fair, it's a very human thing to do. I'm so glad that I found this piece from one Carol Stewart, MSc, trainer, coach for innovative women who are senior leaders and a podcast host. So you understand what we say here now? Same energy it takes to be fake. It's the same energy it takes to be real. Keep it real now. Folks, let's take a little break and we'll come right back with more. But we taking it a notch up in the next segment. So hang on to your seats, folks. Hang on to your seats.
Has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification, not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe my list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest feels like no waters. Friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for, yeah. Stand for. son. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years we're blessed with motion fire. Reaching for more. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up fantastic people together. Bang, bang, bang. Slowly up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and vital opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
All right, folks. What a plum pleasing pleasure it is to be back with you again. And for those of you just joining, I thank you very much for being. As soon as you get into the room, I advise you to do the honorable thing. Share, share, share. And let other people have the opportunity that you are having to be motivated, inspired, and edified. Folks, I have had the occasion to use the services of two local entities which could not deliver the product or end product that I was seeking, but the service was impeccable. One, Diane at Calico in Grenville, was so wonderful. You see, someone who knew that I would be in Grenville a day last week asked me to locate for them a couple bottles of Island Man cologne by Arawak Island, as they could not find it at all in St. George's, and the yellow label Baron's pepper sauce, so I obliged. Although I did not get either of them, the service from the smiling and pleasant Diane was to die for. I advise you to ask for Diane, who I believe is a cashier whenever you go to Calico in Grenville, and be pleased indeed. I also had the pleasure of using the services of Global Tech to see if my rendered dead computer could have been resuscitated to life. And that was another great experience. The young lady at the desk was so charming, efficient, and on the ball. Everyone knows that repair services and even commodities sold at technology shops can be pricey here in Canada. So the service must be up to par to add value for the money to the experience that we go away with. Folks, I can tell you, Wendell Thomas, Global Tech's owner, must be duly proud of Melania Griffith, indeed. I think Wendell and his team know that the same energy it takes to be fake is the same energy it takes to be real, and so they keep it real. Folks, one other place in Grenville happens to be Ramdani's, and Ramdani's textile and fabric department, which is upstairs their place, near to the Deluxe Cinema. Oh, the ladies up there are awesome. Very, very awesome. They have such a wide variety of cloth, textile, fabric, for furniture, for curtains, for tablecloth, for dresses, shirts, trousers for men, slacks for ladies. Oh man, it's a wonderful experience to go there. And you want to know what is actually the sell for me? The price. Great quality, lovely service, and the price better than right. So I want you all to understand, folks, we have some pockets of good service in this country, and we should not lump them with all bad service, although the majority seem to be bad. And owners of businesses need to take stock, because things are already hard. Money is hard to come by. People are looking for value for money. So we need to train and develop and nurture the goodness that all of us have in us. We need to nurture it and stop thinking of training as an expense, because it is truly an investment. It is not just an expense. You are investing in people so that they will understand the importance of customers, who are really the lifeblood of your businesses. People who believe in faking it till they make it are never able to keep the job that they faked to get, far less to evolve and grow in their careers at their various workplaces after faking so much to secure the job. Their faking it never stops, as that high level of dishonesty transfers into the job itself. And the more the faking continues, is the more obvious the lie they tell continues. You see, what eventually happens to such people? They become rolling stones, gathering no moss as they move from job to job until they run out of options, or until they catch themselves to stop that hemorrhaging. But we are actually seeing most of them running out of options. But if they stop to recognize what is happening to them and their lives, they would realize that every move they make, they're going in this direction. They head south. They get less returns. And what does that do for their life? It makes them feel unfulfilled. It adds more stress to them. Folks, cut out this nonsense about faking all this choppiness and be real. When you are real, there is what you may call a chance of redemption. You see, as a practitioner in the field of human capital development, I can tell you that the same way people do not leave jobs, they leave people, is the same way people do not really hire people for their qualifications and abilities above and beyond their personality and attitudes. You see, if at the interview stage you are able to project a personality that is liked and likable, you will likely be hired. If the opposite obtains, trust me, they will not likely hire you. Likability these days is the rarest commodity there is. And people keep getting told no many times, and they will not return home and do some stock taking. They feel they must show up to an interview, or even after succeeding in securing employment, to work every day with their whole selves. And you, the employer, must tolerate them and their Juve culture in your place. They push the rights card on you in response to your objection to their poor attitudes. You must keep them as undesirable as they show up, because it is their right to be who they are, even if that means creating mayhem in the workplace and running customers who are the lifeblood of the business. Our local environment is replete with them. It's only their right to come and torture your customers, turn your working environment into a hell or a Juve camp, but it is not your right to get rid of them. My experience is that when someone applies for a job and gets successful in being interviewed, they always seem to feel that the questions relating to the skills, abilities, and background, that their answers will determine whether or not they get the job. Folks, stop fooling yourselves. Interviewers are simply asking you these questions to see if they can like you when you're answering them. You could imagine if you're coming across fake, they will not like you. Then you are told the sad news eventually, that they gave someone else the job whose background, skills, and abilities match what they were looking for. You automatically concluded that you were not qualified for the job. It is not so at all. In fact, you were qualified. you just were not likable. If your interviewer is intuitive, they can pick up from your vibes whether you are faking it or not. You see, this same person will probably go back to school and take another degree, when what they really needed is to take a Dale Carnegie course and just become likable. In today's day and age, people are more programmed to higher attitude than skill. This faking it thing till you make it is being seen through too easily these days, to the point where, with all the qualifications one may have, if their negative attitude is being worn on their sleeve, there would be little to no chance of being hired in the position applied for. Folks, it's so funny that every time I say where, or there, or there, or they, I have a private joke going on in my head. But anyhow, I think you all know about our joke too anyway. We have seen fakes unraveling before us, and several people still continue to follow them, support them, and believe in them. What does that say about the followers? Not much. They, the followers and supporters, are also fakes because they depend on the fraudship of others without giving it a thought. Clearly, to hook up with them to see what they could get. And as long as they can get something, thus becoming fully dependent, that all on their own, they could have got a lot more. Only if they attended to themselves and took care of their knowledge base to boost their own confidence in themselves. Folks, the signs of these people they follow were on full display, that they were never genuine in the first place, and yet they continue to follow them with their eyes wide shut. Now you may understand what Voltaire meant when he said, "There is none so blind as he who would not see." The so-called local leader that many Grenadians tolerated around the precincts of power for so goddamn long has been unraveling for years, with an intensification now that he has lost power going on to 2 years, never to regain it, in light of the enlightenment that is taking place among the mostly youthful population that I have a lot of confidence in. People are beginning to see that he's truly an authentic fraud and fraudulently authentic. That is why I firmly believe hashtag Keith gone and he not coming back. Let me see you put that in the comment section. Hashtag KWTGONEHENOTCOMINGBACK. Hashtag Keith gone and he not coming back. And let's put that into the universe so he could continue to self-destruct, because that's all he's doing. I have never seen a man destroy himself like this man is doing professionally, and perfectly. People can use his own words, his own voice, his own videos to make Papi Show and Mama Guy with him. Let's listen to this short clip, skillfully docked and plastered over Facebook by Ali Mathura, and you will hear how fake the old nastiness really is, trying to talk in style as part of his inherent fakeness, but with his obvious cognitive decline, he's tripping himself up by showing he does not know and probably never knew the difference between they, there, and there. Let's listen to the clip a little bit.
I mean, I see today people inviting them to a meeting, they're afraid to come. What is going on? Who are you afraid of? God made you free. Don't let nobody take it. And look at who you're allowing to take your freedom. We were there. 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 We were there.
Oh, that's not a joke, you know. Oh, Lord have mercy. I alluded to that in my last edition with respect to the local media and all the attack mangy pothongs that we see and hear defending the National Nasty Party and attacking the decent Deacon Mitchell administration, as if to prove they are really alert to good and positive things and people in this life. One cannot expect less if the leader is as inferior as he has consistently been, and they insist on following him. You notice I got it right. And I got that right since in Heinzie School, not yesterday, since in Heinzie School. That right there, I got that right too, since in Heinzie School, tells you everything you need to know about all of them, including the enablers and beneficiaries who can be safely regarded as greedy and vultures. The only people I'm somewhat sorry for and who would take time, I would take time to see what I can do to help rearrange their ignorance is that of the needy. Those innocent people whose lack of general education has been taken advantage of and placed on the vote farm and fed pittance to keep them poor and vulnerable so they can see the old nastiness, their captor, as their savior. I got that right from Heinzie School. And look how long I've been to Heinzie School. It has been so instructive to read my good friend Sawandi's recent post in relation to the Ali Mathura crafted clip played earlier. Name the English teacher. Where were they? Where were there? Where did he day? I chimed in. I do believe I alluded to that in my last edition of Edification 218. Lazarus Joseph, a patriot after my own heart, in response to my comment wrote, Edward Frederick, for the vote, highly educated men are dumbing themselves rather than lifting up those who they claim they care about. If that isn't obscene, nothing else is. No wonder these people remain vulnerable. It is not in their political master's interest to raise their profile. Sawandi's retort was, Lazarus Joseph, well, you kind of admitted that when he speaks, he knows who he's speaking to. So, Lazarus returns with, Sawandi Fabio Sam. So if his are brighter, they won't support him. Sawandi, Lazarus Joseph, that's an excellent question. Lazarus's final retort, Sawandi Fabio Sam. I will hate that is the case because at a point in his political career, he was well liked by a wide cross-section of the population. Here ends the bantering between Sawandi and Lazarus. Folks, nobody can destroy a fake person better than the fake person himself. You see how last election the entire group of people led by that old nastiness and the most authentically fraudulent and fraudulently authentic person to ever grace our political landscape had absolutely nothing to offer on every campaign platform, it is the same way in opposition. They are keeping up their momentum of gutter sniping and making themselves fools every single time we hear from them. What does this mean? They continue to be dominated by karma, where the law of reciprocity has absorbed them fully and is doing a masterful job of destroying each and every one of them. Just look at the old nastiness. Pitiful. I am sure many of you heard him talking about freedom under his administration and claiming that people are afraid to speak now and afraid to come to meetings for fear that they lose their jobs. Well, could you imagine this old nastiness making such statements? When he was the one who decimated so many people, when he suspected that they don't support him, threatened to turn some of them into bankrupt. Me for one, it takes so many in their pockets to get them to yield to him, and coming with his old evil and demonic self to tell us that freedom is under threat. Huh? Hello? I'm tired telling this man should be brought to a public square and given a serious flogging plea for his many transgressions against the people of this state, not to mention for his present destabilizing role while in opposition. He should be publicly flogged. He's nothing but a vagabond. That is the only reference that suits him. And I am man enough to give him his correct reference. No fake hair. He's an old stinker and an old nastiness. A real vagabond indeed. Again, I ask you to take a serious look at the people they have as mouthpieces for them, whether on radio or doing lives. They don't even know the difference between two and two, T-O and T-O-O. They don't know the difference between being and being, B-W-E-N and B-E-I-N-G. They don't know the difference between then, T-H-E-N, and T-H-A-N, than. They don't know the difference between they, T-H-E-Y, T-H-E-I-R, there, and T-H-E-R-E, there. Folks, you have to hold your head and ball. And the list can go on to almost no end. Some of them don't even know how to pronounce, lest we forget. And that it is not least we forget. Some of them hear of 30 cases of dengue in a 100,000 population as ours, and they call it an outbreak. Just a set up stupidness. And these are the people that are promoting that. Folks, we have moved away from that gutter nonsense and we're not going back. Come on, folks. Hashtag Keith gone and he not coming back. To come back is to finish us off, because that is not any leader. That's a leader that could only take you to hell, finally, and to totally densify you once and for all. Folks, sad that anyone in their right head could be supporting any organization. Good? Any organization that would be represented by such miscreant levels. That's really, really a travesty indeed, you know. Miscreant levels, and to think we know people that we went to school with, grew up with, socialize. Some of us still socializing and socialized with who support that inferior lot, it could tell you only one thing about them too. They too are as fake as they come, because they all... You see, just look at the achievements of a 23-month NDC administration as against a 23-year one headed by that old nastiness. I tell all of you, when the second edition of the biography of a thief is finally released after its almost 30-year first appearance, I just pray and trust that anyone who fits its contents could handle it. The same energy it takes to be fake is the same energy it takes to be real. Keep it real now. Folks, when we come back, we're coming up to the last segment. So, whole strain. We're coming back with more fire.
Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
This is Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The strength of views and opinions expressed during edification are not necessarily a reflection or representation of the sponsors and/or affiliates of this program.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the cold store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love now, best believe the list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest is on the waters. Friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for. We stand for.
Oh, island in the sun. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we strong and more to come. More to come. More to come. Going higher. 50 years with us, with more fire. Still reaching for more. Going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, going up, 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 never higher. Going higher. As we aspire, build up ourselves, put people together. Bang, bang, bang. It's only up.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
Oh Jesus! I just love this. You know, I can't get enough.
We were there. 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 We were there.
Oh Jesus, help us in this lovely little rock. Grenada nice, huh? Oh Lord have mercy, Grenada sweet. Grenada is just one of the sweetest places you could dream knowing and being, and even being from. It's such a lovely place. I see someone saying, don't worry, Eddie, we are here. H-E-A-R. With a smiley face at the end. We are here. H-E-A-R, not H-E-R-E. Everything is just chaos. And a lot of these people came from school. They came to school. Could you imagine that? Went to the whole education system and they don't know the difference between these things, but want to say they're supporting party. And this is my party and this one ain't good. And inventing all kind of nonsense. Talking bung and set of crap. Can't even read. but they're running live. Can't pronounce, but they're running live. And these are the people that we must allow to influence us to support an administration. God damn it. Woo! Ouch. Oh, gee, you have to say. Folks, welcome back. Last segment. You see, when we pay attention, we will learn to stay away from the things and people that potentially can hurt us. We have a lot less to heal from when we do that. We can cut off anxiety if we cut off the people that are making us anxious. We can deal with our depression if we stop going into places and spaces that make us compare ourselves with others. We will find ourselves not going into, I am not good enough, I am not this, I am not that, I am not the other. Hell no. If we set boundaries around what we are consuming, meaning mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, then we have less things we need to recover from. So what are we exposing ourselves to daily that is making our mental and emotional health worse? Let's start by eliminating those things and embark on a program of exposing ourselves to the things that empower us instead. You see, we will have a lot less to heal from. Many times we hold the key to our own happiness. If only we would pay attention to who we are and place a higher value on us. You see, among the top advice I have received in my lifetime is, just because you can resist the devil, you should not hang out with him. If you don't want temptation to follow you, do not act like you are interested. It is much easier to avoid temptation than to resist it. The same energy it takes to fake is the same energy it takes to be real, folks. So be real, keep it real, and do a lot more avoiding. Once you pay attention, people will tell you what place they want in your lives. As soon as I find out, I am happy to hit the release button. No noise at the parting, just total silence and a coldness that sends a chilling message. Trust me, folks, you are going to piss off a lot of people when you start doing what's best for you. A matter of fact, you will start to hear things about yourself that you never knew possible for people to say. You will start to get hate from people that you did not even know. If it is one thing I learned about humans, especially the kind we have a plethora of here in Grenada, is that they generally do not care about how happy you are, as long as you are not happier than they are. They do not care how successful you are, as long as you are not more successful than they are. Trust me, folks, they are not sad that the bad things that are happening to you are happening to you. They are just happy it's not happening to them. Most humans are selfish, self-centered, and jealous. So if you are wondering if you should piss them off, my admonition to you is absolutely piss them off. After all, you deserve to be the best version of you, regardless of how anybody else feels about you. I remember this couple had very good service from a particular individual at a particular place. Traveled, returned to Grenada with a lovely watch that they bought for this individual. Oh, the individual was so surprised, positively shocked, and very appreciative, but gallantly happy boy. Took the watch to show the people in the office. That brought enmity, in an office that appeared to have people that liked one another. So the people, they didn't see me here too. They didn't know I here too. Well, it's not just you. Me too. Big confusion. The synergy in the office, in the workplace, mash up, over a watch. Folks, never share your joy with people at your workplace. Hello? The people at your workplace are co-workers. They are not necessarily your friends. Study your head. You see? Be consistent with who you are, folks. And eventually, after all the failed attempts to put you down, your detractors would give up and have one thing to say, which revolves around them respecting you. Even if others around you don't believe you, once you are consistent, they will respect you. You see, we don't believe in terrorists, but they are consistent. And we do respect them to the max, don't we? Their consistency prevents them from being ignored and not taken seriously. You see, the most powerful frequency that we transmit on a daily basis is our authenticity. Never forget that, folks. Authenticity beats sex, because you see, sex is an action. It beats confidence, and it even beats love. You know why? Authenticity is a frequency. It is reported to have an amplitude so powerful and so attractive that it can actually affect the frequency of another human being that you are engaged with. Authenticity only happens when your words are truthful and you truly believe what you say. If your words are not truthful and you do not believe what you are saying, the frequency of authenticity cannot emanate from you. Authenticity is non-negotiable. So are equality and respect. Who you are is who you are. If you cannot be who you are, where you are, you must change where you are. You see, go where you are valued, and you will become, through positive encouragement, who you are meant to be. People as experienced in this life as I am are here too long to put up with fake people around us who, by virtue of their pretenses, we can feel require too much work to be around. We need to seek out the authentic people who are generally few and hang out with them. What you see is what you get. You see, we have a few of them on social media who are oftentimes ridiculed by the inauthentic majority, who are as fake as a $3 bill. I can think of one such person who says what they have to say as crass as it is delivered. But that person could never be accused of backstabbing, fake, hypocritical, sleazy, or any of the other negative attributes that can be ascribed to the so many fakes who parade as if they are all that. Folks, and these people generally are nothing. I reach out to this individual from time to time to deposit my portion of encouragement and support. That person knows who they are, so no need for me to tell you who. This is between me and them. You see, the more society disconnects with truth and authenticity, is the more it will hate those who are authentic and speak the truth. I tell people I'm too old to be concerned about what anybody thinks of me. You see, the older you get and the more mature you become, folks, needs reduce and reduce drastically. Right now, my needs have reduced to just two things, you know. A dry place to sleep when the night falls. And when the sun rises, a plate of food to nourish the body. Isn't that interesting? Just two basic needs. Let's take a little look at the importance of setting priorities. If we are to divorce ourselves from being fake, a person needs food, shelter, clothing, security, water, and all those good stuffs that go with the foundation of and for a good life. A person wants a cell phone, internet connection, a large bank account, a big house, a luxury car, etc. You see the difference between wants and needs? You see, a child needs milk, but a child wants an iPad. You see, people who express any of these wants are very much alive without them and may just be as good as dead without the needs that they take for granted. And for all, they would sacrifice their ability to pay their rent or mortgage just to flam and show off with an expensive car they really cannot afford. What be this, according to the Africans? What be this? This is the epitome of lack of priorities. Why would you have two expensive smartphones totaling over $6,000, but you have to drug water early in the morning to bathe, to wash your wares, to take care of the infrequent flushing of your outside toilet? Something has got to be wrong with you indeed. Our current governor of Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Dr. Timothy Antwine, is on record as having said that people within the states that make up the Eastern Caribbean Currency Union will spend their last earned cent on their wants and beg the government to help them with their needs. We hear them on call-in programs every day demanding from the government assistance with their needs. That is food, shelter, clothing, security, water, and all the good stuff, and wanting to use their vote as a medium of transaction to get these needs met. Could you imagine that? From any sitting government. Of course, governments tend to pander to this and end up supplying these same transactionaires with their various requests, while the true north development of the various jurisdictions within the OECS and the ECCU suffer delay and in some cases remain retarded long after their so-called granting of independence. Folks, that crap has to stop. So we are seeing the biggest problem many people around us have is setting priorities to determine what is relevant and what is irrelevant. An Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto, in 1895, came up with the principle known today as the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule. It is defined as 80% of the value of what you do will be contained in 20% of the things that you do. This simply means that if you make a list of 10 things that you have to do today, you will find that 2 of these things are worth all of the other 8 put together. Pareto said the difference between highly effective people, for instance, and others is that they work on a vital few versus trivial many. Ineffective people work on the trivial many. They work on things that are fun, things that are easy, irrelevant tasks, while they keep putting off and delaying their major tasks. You see, when you start to ask, what is the most valuable use of my time right now? You know you are onto something new and must be on your way to becoming effective. You see, folks, you would find that people who fake it are always to find themselves in the procrastination quadrant of life. The Pareto principle will always be turned on its head. They can only function one way. And that's the way of losing or standing still, while they are forced to create false images of themselves to depict them making progress and doing well. Folks, I recall Oprah Winfrey being asked by an interviewer recently, why is it the issue of happiness seems to be a big challenge for Americans these days? Her answer was epic. In fact, I'm paraphrasing here her answer, but in gist, this is what she said. people are envious and jealous of other people's fake profile and fake projections of themselves on social media. Boom! This is applicable to many people right here in Grenada. Too many people project an image on social media that is simply not true. Too many people are living below the minimum standards any human being should operate at. Yet for all, when you see them dressed up and decked off in their final portrayal on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, just to name 3 of the social media entities that they might have an account with, you would think they're doing extremely well, when in truth and in fact, they are catching hell. Many of them do not even know when last they had a properly balanced meal. Many of them are hiding from the landlords because they just can't pay their rent. Many of them owe their hairdressers, seamstresses, tailors, corner shops, and even friends, because they are focused on forcing a lime and living by. That has to be a lot of stress indeed. Folks, whenever you lie, you oppose reality. Could you imagine opposing your own reality when you lie to yourself? I'm sure you can treat yourself better than that. Come on, you can do better than that. I'm not telling you to seek success and ignore the other variables in your life. No. What I am telling you is to seek to make yourself valuable. Become known for something and master it so that you could be the go-to person for that thing, whatever that thing might be. Consistency attracts respect in the same way that consistency at being dishonest attracts disrespect and disdain, even ridicule. We don't have to look too far to see this on full display with the old nastiness who is made a puppy show of daily in social media, using his own words to expose his consistency at evil, inferiority, dishonesty, lies, and just low down nastiness. You see, folks, the same energy it takes to be fake, the same energy it takes to be real. Just keep it real. I am in, I am out, and I am gone. Thanks for joining. Continue to share. See you next week at the same time, same place for more extraordinary programming. Until then, I beg of you to stay safe, stay well. Remain vigilant, focused, and lifted. And Mr. Ali Mathura, continue to find things and put there, because we need the biggest clown in town to keep us entertained. And you are the conduit to make that happen. Sawandi, keep us entertained. Keep us thinking with all your beautiful pearls of wisdom. Folks, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. Just type in my name, Eddie or Edward Frederick. Subscribe, like, and share. And be prepared to receive your mental multivitamins straight as I deliver them. Toodaloo, man. It's such a plump, pleasing pleasure to have been with you all today, as always. Take great care now. Have a wonderful week.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all.
If I take time and I write down all the things that I love on my island, best believe the list gon' be like 5 miles long. Best believe it's love that makes me sing this song. The cleanest beers on the waters, friendly people meet in every corner. Togetherness and love is what we stand for. We stand for, stand for. Oh, I'm in this song. Look at how we've grown, how far we've run. 50 years we
Edification, made possible by the efforts of the Center for Democracy and Good Governance, CDGG. The Center for Democracy and Good Governance is a sound organization established to promote and strengthen democracy. For too long now, our generally perceived poorly educated electorate have fallen victim to the cheap and inferior propaganda of those seeking to hold others captive under the guise of democracy. Gladly, the CDGG uses edification to help to actively pursue a sustainable approach to reorient our people towards the importance of electing and selecting people of good character to public life. Through edification, we will highlight the importance of education appropriate to our development, proper healthcare and facilities as our right, respect for law and order, not to mention upgrading our people's thinking so they could become qualified participants in the democratic process to their advantage. After all, Grenada's national constitution makes allowances for the ideal of free men to enjoy freedom from fear and want, which can be best achieved if conditions are created whereby everyone may enjoy his economic, social and political, civil and cultural rights.
I want the best for my family, so every meal has to be perfect. Every bite has to say, There's no doubt in my mind that the best in frozen meats and vegetables has to come from the Country Cold Store. Hams, turkeys, sausages, beef, pork, chicken. I just don't know my family is in safe hands. Thank you, Country Cold Store, for being there for us for the past 40 years.
There are some interesting specials available at Country Cold Store's Mini Mart while stocks last. Take advantage of these specials as they assist you to stretch your limited funds.
The Country Cold Store, providing the best in frozen meats and vegetables since 1969.
Attention all forward-thinking companies. Sure you can do with a continuous positive boost to your image and impact your bottom line. Hiring the right people with the right attitude and mindset is where to start. Even if you did not get it right through your current hiring methods, we can help develop the right mindset for your current employees. If you think training is expensive, try not training and you will experience a perpetual downward spiral in patronage on account of increased dissatisfied customers. Take things into your hands and engage the best at motivation and customer care training with a tried and tested track record. Visit www.efrederick.com now and learn how you can change the atmosphere in your business and improve the customer experience for everyone who does business with you. Spice Island Beach Resort and Belmont Estate are two such local entities of world renown that have benefited tremendously from ongoing customer care, social skills, and motivation training. Training changes everything for the better for any business and every team member. Enhance employee performance through increased awareness and passion for the job at hand. Greater potential in your workforce awaits you through engaged, high-energy training that works. Log on now, www.EDDIE-FICATION.com.
Eddie Frederick has got it all. Inspiration, motivation, great advice, and biting opinion pieces as only Eddie Frederick can deliver. Eddie Frederick has got it all. Eddie Frederick
Wonderful, wonderful,
has
wonderful.